Deep in the darkness of the high atmosphere, a bat-winged silhouette glides silently, invisible to the world's most advanced radar. This is the B-2 Spirit, a technological marvel that redefined aerial warfare by making the concept of detection completely obsolete. With a price tag of $2 billion per aircraft, it remains the most expensive and lethal tool in the arsenal. It was designed for one terrifying purpose: to penetrate the Soviet Union's densest air defenses and deliver a nuclear strike. Welcome to KL Warfront. Today, we dissect the ultimate predator of the skies, peeling back the layers of the Spirit. Why does a 30-year-old aircraft still terrify modern superpowers today? The answer lies in the physics of its haunting, curved shape. Unlike traditional jets, it has no vertical tail, removing the primary reflector for incoming radar waves from lateral angles.
Every curve is calculated to a fraction of a millimeter, ensuring that electromagnetic energy is scattered away from the source.
But stealth is not a cloak of invisibility. It is a game of reducing the detection range to a tactical minimum.
By the time an enemy radar sees a glint, the B-2 has already released its payload and turned for home.
What happens when the world's most advanced integrated air defense system meets the ghost? Let's look at the operational reality.
The B-2 represents the peak of Cold War engineering, yet it operates in a digital age where sensors are evolving.
Can 20 aircraft truly hold the balance of global power? Or is the B-2 a golden relic of a bygone era?
To understand its lethality, we must look at the flying wing concept, a design that baffled engineers for decades.
Without computers, the B-2 would be unflyable. It requires thousands of micro adjustments per second just to stay level in flight. This unstable design is the secret to its agility and its nearly non-existent radar cross-section from all directions.
It is the only aircraft capable of carrying the massive 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator to destroy underground bunkers.
One B-2 can strike 80 independent targets with JDAM precision, effectively doing the work of an entire fighter wing.
However, the cost of this perfection is a maintenance nightmare that requires climate-controlled hangars at every forward base.
Let us dive deeper into the battlefield context where the Spirit proved its worth during the Kosovo campaign.
Chapter 2: Battlefield Context and Mission Profiles.
In 1999, the B-2 made its combat debut, flying 30-hour round-trip missions from Missouri to the heart of Serbia. It flew through some of the densest air defenses in Europe, undetected, while dropping 1/3 of all bombs used.
The psychological impact was as significant as the physical damage. The enemy never knew the bomber was there.
Since then, the B-2 has been the first day of war weapon, clearing the path for less stealthy assets.
But modern air defense has changed. Systems like the Russian S-400 and Chinese YLC-8B are designed to hunt stealth.
Can the B-2 still survive in an era of multi-static radar and quantum sensing? The stakes have never been higher.
To survive, the B-2 relies on more than just shape. It uses advanced electronic warfare to blind what it can't hide from. Mission planning takes weeks, calculating the exact gaps in radar coverage to weave through the enemy's net.
The B-2 is not a lone wolf. It is part of a massive, invisible network of satellites and intelligence.
Every mission is a gamble with a $2 billion chip. A single mechanical failure could mean a catastrophic loss.
Unlike the B-52, which flies at 50,000 feet visibly, the B-2 chooses its altitude based on atmospheric contrail levels.
If you see the spirit, it's already too late. But what makes its skin so special? Let's look at the materials.
The Radar Absorbent Material, or RAM, is a chemical cocktail designed to trap radar photons and turn them into heat.
This material is incredibly fragile. High humidity or heavy rain can degrade the stealth coating, requiring immediate repair.
This sensitivity limits the B-2 to specific bases with B-2 shelter system hangars to maintain its ghost-like properties.
Is the B-2's stealth actually decreasing over time as radar technology improves at a faster rate?
Question: can a B-2 be shot down by a simple thermal camera? Even without radar, its engines produce massive heat. To counter this, the B-2 buries its General Electric F-118 engines deep inside the wing, mixing exhaust with cold air.
By the time the heat reaches the tail, it is cooled enough to blend into the background temperature.
This obsession with detail is why the B-2 remains the gold standard of strategic penetration.
The B-2's offensive power is centered around two internal weapon bays, each capable of carrying 40,000 pounds.
It doesn't just carry bombs, it carries a variety of precision-guided munitions and nuclear standoff missiles.
The rotary launcher assembly allows for rapid-fire deployment of different bomb types in a single pass.
Using the GPS-aided targeting system, the B-2 can strike moving targets even through thick cloud cover or smoke. But its most fearsome weapon is the GBU-57 MOP. It can penetrate 200 feet of reinforced concrete before detonating. This makes the B-2 the only aircraft capable of threatening the world's most protected underground nuclear facilities.
It scans the ground in millisecond bursts, preventing enemy ELINT systems from triangulating its position.
On 30-hour missions, one pilot sleeps on a small cot behind the seats, while the other monitors the Ghost.
Fuel is the only limit. With mid-air refueling, the B-2 has an unlimited range, limited only by pilot endurance.
Its global reach means Missouri-based bombers can strike any target on Earth in less than 20 hours. But what happens if the B-2 is spotted? It has no defensive guns and zero air-to-air missiles. Its only defense is its low observability. If a fighter gets within visual range, the B-2 is a sitting duck.
This makes the B-2 a strategic sniper, not a frontline bruiser. It relies entirely on the shadows.
The cost of operating this sniper is $130,000 per flight hour. Every hour in the air costs more than a luxury house.
Is the high cost worth the capability? Some critics argue that cruise missiles could do the same job for less. This flexibility is why the B-2 remains a cornerstone of the nuclear triad.
Now, let's examine the combat reality and the terrifying limits of this billion-dollar machine.
Bravo 6, we're advancing to the objective. Keep that suppressing fire up. Moving!
The B-2's greatest enemy isn't a missile, it's the environment. Its stealth coating is notoriously temperamental.
In the early years, the B-2 couldn't fly in heavy rain because water would seep into the seams, ruining its RCS.
Each flight requires over 50 hours of maintenance. For every 1 hour in the air, 50 hours are spent in the hangar.
This low mission-capable rate means that out of 20 aircraft, often only 10 are ready for war at any time.
Then there is the human factor. 30-hour missions push the limits of human biology and cognitive function.
Despite the automation, the stress of flying the world's most expensive aircraft through enemy territory is immense. In 2008, the Spirit of Kansas crashed during takeoff in Guam, a $1.4 billion loss caused by simple moisture in sensors.
It was the most expensive aviation accident in history, proving that even ghosts have Achilles' heels.
The crash revealed that the B-2's pitot tubes, sensors that measure airspeed, were sensitive to tropical humidity.
As technology advances, the B-2 is becoming brittle. Parts are no longer in production, requiring custom 3D printing.
If the B-2 is the predator of the night, what happens when the sun comes up? Its visual profile is massive. Against a clear sky, the B-2 can be seen from miles away by a simple pair of eyes or an experienced fighter pilot's canopy.
This is why B-2 missions are strictly timed to start and end in total darkness.
But modern VHF radars can detect the B-2 by treating the entire aircraft as a disturbance in the wayfield.
While VHF radar cannot guide a missile to the B-2, it can tell enemy fighters exactly where to look.
To counter this, the B-2 must stay far away from known VHF installations, further complicating the flight path.
Is the B-2 a single point of failure? Losing just 5 aircraft would eliminate 25% of the fleet's capacity.
With so few units, the Air Force is extremely risk-averse, often keeping the B-2 out of high-threat zones. This leads to a paradox. A weapon built for the most dangerous missions is often too precious to use. Despite these limits, the Spirit remains the only deep penetrator in the U.S. inventory. For now.
The B-2's primary value today isn't just dropping bombs. It's the threat of presence. It is a diplomatic sledgehammer.
When B-2s move to a region, the entire geopolitical landscape shifts. It signals that every target is now vulnerable.
It is the ultimate deterrent, a ghost that can deliver a nuclear or conventional strike without warning. But the B-2 is nearing the end of its life. The 2030s will see the Spirit retired in favor of the B-21 Raider. The B-21 will be cheaper, more numerous, and feature digital stealth that can be updated like a smartphone.
Does this make the B-2 a failure? Hardly. It paved the way for every stealth aircraft that followed it.
Without the lessons learned from the Spirit, the dream of the invisible Air Force would have remained just a dream. In a future war, the B-2 will likely fly its final missions as a command and control hub for loyal wingman drones.
It will use its massive size to carry the heavy processors needed to run AI in a contested environment.
The B-2 Spirit is a bridge between the analog past of heavy bombers and the autonomous future of warfare.
Its legacy is one of technical perfection at an astronomical price, a testament to what is possible when cost is no object.
We have analyzed the shape, the skin, the weapons, and the flaws.
To its pilots, it is the finest machine ever built. To its enemies, it is a shadow they can never catch.
As the sun sets on the B-2's career, its shadow still looms large over the history of military aviation.
The era of the Spirit is ending, but the era of stealth is only beginning. The Ghost lives on in its successor.
Every time a radar screen remains empty despite a threat in the air, the B-2's DNA is at work.
It remains the most complex flying machine ever created by human hands, an apex predator of the 21st century. Silent, deadly, invisible. The B-2 Spirit is the ultimate manifestation of American air power. As it rolls to a stop, the world outside is none the wiser that a ghost just returned from the hunt. This has been a deep dive into the B-2 Spirit. Thank you for watching KL Warfront. Subscribe for more tactical analysis.